for the detailed explanations. As I said before, we have been following the performance of the Moroccan automotive industry, and of course we will keep on searching for opportunities and trying to understand the challenges in order to support the Basque companies to deploy activities in your country. Let me share with you very briefly a video presentation on the Basque automotive industry. Please do not take the figures into consideration. They are not updated. I have prepared a couple of slides in order to update the current figures. And I will try to speed up because I think we are running out of time, and I think it's also important that Mr. Kerman Osoro from CA Automotive has the chance to explain their experience. So, as I said, let me play the video.
The Basque automotive industry, one of the most competitive and innovative in the world, has its origins in a long industrial, financial and commercial tradition that runs from the 19th century to the present day. Cutting-edge management levels in the region's industry make it highly efficient and effective. Its 300 companies produce an overall turnover of 12 billion euros, employing 75,000 people the world over. Mercedes-Benz Victoria, which has a production capacity of 100,000 plus vehicles a year and employs more than 3,000 people, adds some solid weight to the industry in the region. One of the company's current major initiatives is to develop and manufacture the first mass-produced electric traction van, the Vito e-cell. Today, the industry has 200 factories outside Spain, mostly in emerging markets like Eastern Europe, Brazil, Mexico and China. These international business interests enable the region's industry to accompany its vehicle manufacturer or Tier 1 supplier customers as they go global, offering maximum guarantees of professionalism and acting as their strategic allies in the initial phases of major world projects. The Basque Country is also home to more than 30 automotive multinationals, with major centres of competence contributing value to the industry here and to their parent organisations. We call the industry integral because in a relatively small area it has the entire value chain available, with everything from steel workers, capital goods manufacturers and machine tool producers to die and mould makers and machining suppliers, not forgetting universities, research centres, consultants, engineering firms and the like. Some 5,000 academics at 4 prestigious universities cater to the needs of more than 65,000 students. It also has a major network of vocational training centres with more than 25,000 students. These centres are at the forefront of teaching in terms of contents, resources and management. A major feature is the AIC, Automotive Intelligence Centre, conceived as a unique value-generating centre facilitating cooperation within the regional industry in areas like knowledge, training, technology and industrial development. Furthermore, the Basque automotive industry works on all vehicle functions: drivetrain, 68%, powertrain, 47%, structural and bodywork elements, 42%, interior parts, 13%, exterior parts, 13%, electronics, 9%, and wheel hubs and rims, 3%. Although the regional industry makes a wide range of products, it tends to concentrate on modules like suspension, internal combustion engine, transmission, brakes and steering, seats, passive safety systems, instrument panel, exhaust systems, air feed, interior embellishments, pedals, opening and locking features, lighting and indicators. Absolutely all bus companies have certifications awarded for their systems. The most frequent certificate being ISO TS 16949, held by 90% of them. A high percentage also have environmental and safety in the workplace certifications. 70% of the businesses in the industry have an R&D unit, with an average 5% of turnover being ploughed back into the development of new high-value added products and processes. The mission of the Basque Automotive Cluster Association, ACICAE, is to stimulate the Basque automotive industry by facilitating business-to-business cooperation that will enable them to give a joint response to the major challenges facing the sector as a whole. The Basque automotive sector, an integral industry.
So in we are now closing the figures of previous year, 2017, but it seems that our 300 automotive suppliers, Basque suppliers, are gonna achieve 17 billion euros of revenues with those are the figures for 2016. As I said, it seems that we will actually overcome 17 billion euros last year, which I think is a very important figure in absolute terms, but also relatively speaking, that figure represents 24% of the GDP of the Basque country. So I think it gives a clear idea how specialized and how focused our economy is into the automotive sector. There are not so many regions, believe me, in Europe that have such a concentration of automotive suppliers and automotive knowledge. You very well know that within Europe, Germany is the first producer of cars, Spain is the second, something like 2,800,000 vehicles, and within Spain, in terms of suppliers, the Basque country accounts for nearly 50% of the revenues of the supply chain. So this is the main hub, let's say. I would also highlight that 90% of our revenues are originated due to international programs. So I don't like to call it exports, right? Because the world is too complex and the flows of components and invoices is much complex than that. But 90% of those 17 billion euros are originated through the international platforms, vehicles, construction, production that we are working in. Moreover, the Basque companies have become really global companies. That was a process that began something like 20 years ago, opening first plants in Central and Eastern Europe, Mexico, Brazil, Asia, and currently Basque companies have a strong international presence of nearly 700 manufacturing plants worldwide. There are 80,000 people working for the sector, 40,000 are employees that are working here in the Basque country, and 40,000 people is employment that the Basque companies have created outside of Spain, right, due to their process of internationalization. And as you could see in the video, in the movie, there is a plant of Daimler in Vitoria, in our region, but since our international component, let's say, is 90%. You can imagine that we are not, we are only working something like 10–15% for the V-Class that is being produced there. Of course, we are very happy. I'm very proud that Daimler has a plant here, but let's say our spirit is international, or our operations have become very internationalized. And as cluster association, we are turning 25 years old this year, so we are celebrating our silver anniversary, and we are, as far as we know, one of the most ancient, longest established automotive cluster in Europe. Our mission is to improve the competitiveness of Basque companies through collaboration. So, well, here you can see the trajectory of these last 25 years, except for the crisis for 2009. It has been, well, a positive experience, I would say, and even though our turnover dropped something like 25% during the crisis, our recovery was quite quick. In 2 years' time, we had already overcome the situation. Also, one of the main aspects of our industry is very integral. We are, let's say, privileged because we have the whole value chain available. So from the raw materials, tool and die manufacturers, machine tool manufacturers, 80% of the machine tool manufacturers in Spain are based in the Basque Country, engineering companies, surface treatment, so all, let's say, the stakeholders that are adding value to our products and processes are present here in the Basque Country, and this characteristic enable us to provide complete solutions to our customers and to make our product and processes evolve. We have a quite interesting mix of companies here in the Basque Country. On one hand, we have foreign multinationals, companies like Tenneco, Bridgestone, so ZF, foreign companies that invested over here already decades ago and that are working very performing from here. But we also have our own multinationals, because companies like Gestam, that has recently announced, as you mentioned, a new plant in Morocco, or CIE Automotive, also the automotive division of Mondragon Group. They are really top players in the automotive industry at global level. But we shouldn't forget also the medium-sized companies that have combined a high level of specialization within their product or the process, and also a global footprint. And those two fields, let's say, have enabled them to become a strategic partner of the customers, and they are performing very, very well also. So Basque companies are very much focused on the original equipment field of the activity. As you can see, aftermarket is only 2%. 2% of 17 billion euros is not, has also an importance, right? But I would like to remark how involved our companies are in the early phases of the development of the cars, of the vehicles, let's say, right? By working in the original equipment. It's a very demanding industry, but at the same time enable our companies to be partners of our customers. The Basque suppliers are mainly producing components or working for passenger cars and light commercial vehicles, as you can see, and well, also to the Irizar activity, also involved in bus production. And to finally, our sales evolution. I mentioned in the very beginning that 90% of our turnover is export, is international business. Well, our natural market used to be Europe, Germany, France, United Kingdom, but I think it was 2011 when our companies started selling or more parts outside Europe rather than in Europe, right? Which shows that the companies understand that this is a global sector, and they have been able to gain market share also in the emerging markets. And finally, the international footprint of Basque suppliers. I mentioned also before that that was a process that began 15, 20 years ago, mainly Central and Eastern Europe, Mexico and Brazil then, and finally Asia. Well, you can see the geographical distribution in the chart. Nowadays, near 700 manufacturing plants worldwide, and this is a process that keeps on growing with a specific interest in Northern Africa. We would like to further explore the possibilities and also understand the challenges in your country. We are aware that you are very proactive. We had the honor, let's say, of sharing some time with your Minister of Industry, Mr. Lalami, and the commitment is there. So we want to take an active part also in your products, and we will, as I said before, we will keep on exploring the opportunities through the automotive museum that we are organizing in the short term. Okay, thank you very much.